Life in Dog Years is about one man's life and the special dogs he meets along the way. Let's start with the title. A dog year is approximately 7 human years. In this photo, both the dog and the boy are 12 years old. But really, in dog years, the dog is as old as this man. Dogs don't live as long as people. Gary Paulsen is the author of the book and was thinking of this idea. He was probably also thinking that if you converted his life into dog years, he would be about 10 and a half, not 75. In his heart, he's still a boy who loves dogs. Mr. Paulsen has led an interesting life. You may know his name because he's the author of many famous books for young adults. He has many fans. When writers think about telling their story, it can be daunting. How do we write about our lives? We could fill several volumes, but we need to be more concise. Paulsen uses stories about his dogs to shorten his narrative and connect the parts of his life. Also, all of the different stages of his life have one thing in common: a fantastic dog friend who is also a hero. Gary isn't just a writer. He also uses a dog sled in the upper Midwest, in Bemidji, Minnesota. One day while trapping beavers, he fell through the ice. Luckily, Gary was still holding the sled rope. Cookie, the lead dog, saw him drop and summoned the other dogs to run forward. Aren't dogs so smart? In this chapter, the writer explains that he owes the past 17 years of his life to Cookie. This near-death experience leads him to tell the story of great dogs he has known. When Gary was a little boy, his family was stationed in the Philippines right after World War II. The Philippines are the pink little islands to the right and south of China. The country was devastated by World War II, and Gary remembers seeing shells and devastation all around him. Still, it was a wild country to explore. He often went walking with his dog, Snowball. Once he saw a shiny ribbon in the water and realized it was a poisonous water snake. Just as the snake was about to strike, Snowball grabbed it by the neck and killed it. Here again, a dog saved Gary's life. Sadly, just before the family is to return back to the States, Snowball was hit by an army truck. Back in Minnesota, things were hard for Gary. His parents drank heavily. They were alcoholics. He stayed out of the house as much as he could. At a very young age, Gary takes on odd jobs to buy his own food and clothes. He lives in the basement of the apartment and uses lawn chairs as furniture. Thugs used to wait for him. They would beat him up and take his money. But one day, after splitting a hamburger with a stray dog, he finds that the dog protects him. Gary names him Dirk. Dirk bites into the bully a few more times. After that, thugs leave Gary alone. Dirk lives with Gary in the basement. They bond over peanut butter crackers. The Great Dane Caesar is a funny story. His small farmhouse isn't big enough for him, and he's always knocking over delivery men and coffee tables. In this chapter, we learned that dogs have feelings because he doesn't eat for almost a week when his previous owner gives him away. However, at a picnic, Gary remembers how gentle Caesar was to children and how they delighted in feeding the big dog hot dogs. Chapters about Rex and Josh, 2 sheepdogs, marvel at the dog's ability to protect and monitor. Josh is Gary's most recent dog and seems almost human, and he seems to really listen. Fred is perhaps my favorite dog. Fred was named after Gary's friend who had just died. He doesn't know he's small. He makes friends with a pig, and he tries his best to catch the air in the backseat car window. Once he lunged at a bear, saving Gary's wife from being attacked. Fred liked Dairy Queen. Once while ordering through a drive-thru window, Fred leapt through the car window and through the cashier station. He's caused quite a commotion. I love how fearless and loyal Fred is in that chapter. One of the points Gary Paulsen makes is how caring dogs are. They're protective and they listen to us. They save us from loneliness and they make daily life better. Consider for a moment this photo of the president and his family. From a distance, they're just any old family walking their dog, Bo. I wonder if I'll look back and think of our beagle, Sunny, and remember my children when they were young. I'll remember how she loved apple slices and leftover bacon, how she rested in the kitchen doorway, watching me cook. I'll remember how all the toddlers could touch her without worry of being nipped, and how she barked when the mailman came to the door. I'll remember how she used her hound nose outside.